Hi, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Becky Brato, and I'm a producer with QuickTake by Bloomberg. And today I am joined by three college students from Arizona State University who created the website Is My Internship Canceled? So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We have Khan, Devyash, and Anane. Um, Tell me about yourselves.
Hi, I'm Anane Arora. I'm a sophomore majoring in computer science at Arizona State University, and I'm an incoming software engineering intern at Apple.
Hi, my name is Devyash. I'm a senior. I'm going to be an interning software engineer at American Express.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Khan. I'm a computer science student as well and graduating this May as a senior.
That's great, and thanks again for joining us. And to those of you watching this, as you're joining the conversation, please comment with any questions below, and we'll be sure to ask them. So let's dive right into your project. Ananay, can you please tell me how you first got the idea to start a crowdsourced website for the summer's internship program?
Sure. So I got the idea from basically I saw a lot of sources like a few GitHub repositories, a website called Candor, a lot of other sources where there was this like there were these statuses for every company out there. And I saw this website called isitcanceledyet.com, which was a list of events that were being canceled around the United States and I mean all across the world.
Mhm.
And it had this nice look to it. And we thought that we can make a website that has this name called is my internship canceled.com, and we could have all these companies with their logos and their statuses with crowdsourced data. And also the other sources, it was hard to contribute to them. So we created an easy way for people to contribute because it's not just software engineers contributing to it. It's a bunch of people who are in management, finance, political science. But later on, as the site developed, we had added some unique features that are different than other sources that are on the internet. So we added two things. One is the map, and the
Yeah.
other thing is a comprehensive verification process.
Mhm.
So
And I'm
the
going to
map,
get to that in just a second.
sure,
Because it's actually a pretty rigorous reporting and verification process that
sure,
that the three of you are doing. You're not just reporting rumors, right?
yeah, yes.
So obviously, internships are at the forefront of your minds as college students. Um, I was wondering, Khan, if you could tell me how many internships programs you've verified so far.
I think we've probably verified around 25 to 30 programs as of now. But the remainder of the programs that aren't officially verified necessarily are also pretty sure to be legitimate because we've received images from that recruiters have sent these students saying that the internship has been canceled or so on. So considering those as well, I'd say we have over 250 internships with accurately reported statuses on the website right now.
That's amazing. And for the ones that you verified, what's that process like?
So we have our email addresses on the website. So we just tell recruiters and representatives of these companies that they can email us and update us with their status. So we've received a lot of emails from various companies, like we were even in contact with Airbnb recently regarding their internship status. So a lot of high profile companies want to be properly represented on this website because it's almost a sort of accountability for companies because when students see that a company has canceled their internship, it's not the most positive image for that company. So companies and recruiters from companies that are trying to maintain their internship programs are making an effort to appear as they're still going with the internship as remote, at least. So
Right. And when we've spoken before, you mentioned, wanting to keep this project going even beyond the summer. And in that regard, have even connected with some schools and obviously employers, like you just mentioned. I think, Devyash, you mentioned publishing an open letter to employers across the country. Could you tell me about that?
Yeah, so the idea is that internships are extremely important for students, and if they're getting canceled instead of being moved remote, that actually does hurt a lot of students.
Yeah.
especially new grads. So the idea was to create an open letter to send to companies, you know, basically just talking about the reasons why internships are important, potentially changing their decision. Although, we'll see how that actually goes through.
Anane, you mentioned the map that
Yes.
sort of gives you the overview of where these programs stand across the country.
Right. So the map. So with the map, we're actually pinpointing each company's location, so we can get an idea of where each company, like where the cancellations are centered, where the remote ones are centered. So it gives you an idea of whether you can correlate this data with the coronavirus cases in that area. So in the San Francisco Bay Area, as you can see, there are a lot of remote internships or canceled internships, mainly because a lot of tech companies are also there. So there's going to be a lot of companies there as well. But you can definitely draw conclusions from the map itself when you look at each company on a map. So this was actually suggested to me, and someone said this would be interesting data to look at. So that's why we created the map.
Yeah, so now this data you can collect and analyze, and you can even, I guess,
Right.
put out a report to
Right.
sort of show the impact that the coronavirus has had on these
Yes.
programs, right?
Yes.
You mentioned that your internships are still going ahead as planned. Have they switched to remote? Are you still expected to show up in person? What about you, Khan?
Okay, so I'm going to be starting full-time in August in New York City. So as of now, everything seems to be going ahead as usual, as planned originally. But of course, so much is uncertain about the future right now as to whether New York's condition is going to improve by then. So I'm staying connected with them. And if needed, it may end up being a remote onboarding process. It's not really apparent right now. But as of now, the company has reassured me that it is continuing as expected initially, which I'm very lucky for.
Yeah. And if it is remote, Devyash, could you think of what some of the challenges you might face working a remote internship?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the main things about an internship is the social experiences, actually like having those, team meetings,
Right.
just meeting a bunch of people and, just going around the office, knowing how it is to be in an office environment. So I think those are the main impacts of having a remote internship instead of a regular internship. Also, internship programs, they're not just working, generally speaking, at least for tech, in the tech industry, for one of the internship at least, actually for my internships, like they have team builders, they have all sorts of activities to get to add to
Right.
the experience. And those
Networking
won't be
programs,
exactly.
mentorships. Yeah. You mentioned that you have heard from a lot of employers, right? What has the response overall been from other college students, other people who are looking for information on their internships? Can you talk about that, Ananai?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the website since day one has been circling around because, first of all, the name is kind of stuck in people's heads, but also because, since we have an end-to-end verification process, since there's a lot of accurate information, and college students want to know what's going on with other internships, and they want to know the true picture behind it. That's why they're trusting our website
Right.
as compared to other sources, because we have that end-to-end verification process, which involves a company recruiter sending us an official email from their official address. And we don't trust any screenshots yet. We don't trust any screenshot as official. We always either take official emails or press releases or posts from a recruiter or company representative on LinkedIn or other websites. So we have these set of guidelines that we're using to verify this. And another thing is that transparency. So each transparency and anonymity. So the thing is,
In the submission form, you mean?
Yeah, and the submit. So anyone can contribute to our website anonymously, and they fill out this form, and all the form responses that were submitted are transparent. So you can go right now and see who submitted what at what time, and when did we add that to the main website. So we go over each submission where, there's a lot of data to look at when it comes to this. So it's very interesting to college students, especially people who love to look at a lot of data, who love to analyze all that stuff, to draw conclusions on whether a certain internship is going to be canceled or is what's going to happen, basically.
From the volume of
Yes.
information that comes in. And I believe you mentioned that someone had actually found out about their internship through your website, not even directly from an employer.
Yes.
Yeah. It definitely has expanded beyond what we anticipated it. Directly related to the question that was asked, in terms of colleges' response to the website, it's been quite supportive. Many colleges and universities across the United States have actually linked to our website on their career portal pages. So they're actively advertising this website as a support platform for students who are being impacted by internship cancellations. And certainly I know several people whose internships have been canceled, or even full-time positions have been deferred for quite a while. So it is really impacting a lot of students. So we're hoping that this website can be of help to them, not only to understand the environment right now, but also look for actively hiring opportunities or replacement activities that they can do for the summer or for the beginning of their career. So,
So it's becoming a resource. You're
Exactly.
contributing and helping people who are in your situation now, and who knows, might be in this situation next year, right?
Yes. Yep.
And speaking of that, the future, especially for employment in this country, you mentioned, and Devyash, that you're graduating seniors, right? So tell me what it feels like to know that you won't be walking in a graduation ceremony this year because of this pandemic.
Yeah, it's definitely rough. I'm pretty sure it's rough for my parents, my family, who I think really want to attend it. We'll see. I might walk in December if that happens. Otherwise, I just might not. But yeah, it's not. That's pretty much it.
Bittersweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're fortunate that Arizona State University is offering the opportunity to participate in a later graduation in person. So I'll definitely take that up, because I'd like my family and friends from across the United States to attend my graduation. And yeah, like you said, it is an important moment in a college student's life, or anyone's life. So it's unfortunate that we're not able to participate in the traditional manner, but
yeah. But it's obviously an unprecedented time across the world, right? And being so young and at the beginning of your careers, I guess I was wondering if you're going to be facing one of the worst job markets in our country's history. How has the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic changed your attitude or approach toward how searching for jobs or internships? Has it changed that at all?
I think one aspect that may have changed for the near term is, traditionally, particularly in software engineering, people have the concept of job hopping very regularly in order to move to a nicer team or get a higher salary or a different location. And it's very common to job hop with every 1.5 to 2 years, which is very frequent compared to other industries. I think now people are going to start becoming a bit more wary of that, and maybe appreciating the stability that they have at their current job, and not risking transitioning if the other company has unexpected layoffs or issues that come up. I think that's one thing that will change about the attitude towards job search in the near term.
Definitely.
For you as well, Devyash?
Yeah, I mean, I have been lucky where, I haven't been hit by this, but I know a lot of people who have, and, it's going to be rough for them. Graduating, just getting directly out of college, it's pretty difficult to get a job in the first place because you don't have experience. Usually the first year when you're out of college, you're considered a new grad, so you have a whole bunch of opportunities directly for you. But if you miss out on those, then there's not really that many alternatives to that afterwards.
So the concern, I guess, would be that if you can't make it into an internship or a job this summer, what does that mean for my future, right? I'm sure
Exactly.
a lot of kids your age are wondering that.
I would like to add something to that. So I
Sure.
think since a lot of internships are being impacted, it also impacts their full-time jobs. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the traditional method, at least in software engineering. So basically, in your junior year, you have companies approach you. Junior year is the prime time where you're gonna have a lot of interviews from companies, and if you get an internship with a good company in your junior year, they're gonna convert you to full time. So what companies are basically looking for are new grads, but also like they want people
People
who've
they can groom
yes.
and
So
train. Right.
so if you have an internship with that company before, if you do well at that internship, that's a way of them evaluating you for a full-time job as well, or training you. And once you're used to working at that company, you can um, simply, transition to full-time, sign a full-time offer with them. And that's the traditional process. But the thing is, if a lot of internships are impacted, it's gonna be a problem for the people who are graduating next year as well.
Right. For long-term
Because
hiring.
yes, so it's hard for them to just convert because they've never done an internship before in the first place.
So I have a question from the audience. Have you noticed a trend in the types of internship jobs or jobs that are being canceled? Is one industry canceling internships more than others? Khan, can you tell me about what the data is showing?
Sure. So I think primarily it's a matter of geography. Like the regions that are most impacted are canceling or moving internships to remote more than others. But of course, certain industries right now are being impacted more than others. One example being the travel industry. I mean, obviously, people are not traveling nearly as much as they used to be before the pandemic began. So inevitably, these companies are having to downsize their internship programs or eliminate them altogether because they just can't afford to support that program. I mean, internship programs at the end of the day are a pathway to a new grad job offer, but they don't necessarily create immediate value for the companies because there's so much mentorship that goes into it and so much effort that goes into onboarding the intern. And within a period of 3 months, there's not really enough time to onboard them have a significant impact, and then offboard. So that's the reason why I think certain industries are being affected more than others.
Yes.
So it used to be like this, the internship was almost like an extended job interview, and now that's sort of being uprooted completely.
Exactly.
I have another audience question. I'm going to ask you, Anane.
Sure.
Do you have any plans to expand the website?
So right now, we do have plans. We have a lot of companies willing to partner with us for listing who's hiring. So there's Way Up that reached out to us that wanted to partner with us. So we're working with a lot of partners like them that are willing to grow our list of companies that are hiring, and we're also aggregating more sources for that. Other than that, we're just implementing a commenting system and a lot of other things so that there's more engagement, there's more social engagement on the website while also keeping it anonymous, so that people can voice their opinions, and if they think if there's some crowdsourced data, they can comment under the company itself. So that's a way to expand the website, but we're still thinking of great ways we're taking suggestions for it.
Yeah, and I did see that you've even expanded internationally a little bit, at least on the map. I was seeing some programs out of Europe, so I guess that's also
even India.
Keep in mind.
So since I'm originally from India, I have connections to companies in India as well. They reached out to me, and we added their name to the website.
That's great. Sort of, in terms of final thoughts, I would like, each of you to tell me if you have any advice for college students whose internships have unfortunately been canceled. Devyash, maybe you can start.
Definitely. I would say the main thing you should do is look into doing micro internships. So those are really projects that you do over the summer. You work on them full time, try to get them off the ground. Because while one of the biggest parts of an internship is the fact that you're, at least in software engineering, you're building something, you're coding something. I'm sure it's relatively similar in different industries, like an MBA internship, where you have certain roles. So if you can somehow get this experience without a company, you can definitely put that on your resume, and it would look much better for you when you're looking for a job.
Right, almost like freelancing in a way.
Exactly.
And I would say definitely keep an eye out on the internet for resources that are coming up. Of course, one of them being ismyinternshipcanceled.com, but there's a bunch of other resources that I'm personally seeing as well. Like on LinkedIn, I see finance companies saying we're creating a month-long virtual externship program for students that you can just join into and register for and learn about finance. So in every industry, there are opportunities coming up. And I think in computer science, we're lucky enough that a lot of the work we do can truly be done from home. So
Right.
a student whose internship has unfortunately been canceled in software engineering can just begin creating their own website, and then they'll be able to put that on their resume. And for the following summer or whenever everything returns to normal, hopefully that will serve as some evidence that this student is qualified and experienced for other opportunities.
Mhm. So continue sort of educating yourself.
Definitely.
Try to
Yep.
freelance. And Anane?
Yeah, and to build upon that, I think at least in software engineering, you can get a lot of experience by contributing to open source projects. So open source projects, for those who don't know, they're as the word suggests, it's open source. Anyone can go ahead and contribute to that, and companies really value that because when you're working at a company, a lot of their code is already open source. So if you go to Facebook's GitHub page, you're going to find tons of open source software that you can contribute to. And maybe if you do that, you can list that on your resume, and that can help you land an internship at Facebook because you've worked on something that is used by Facebook.com. So
you're showing that you can make a contribution to this bigger thing.
So that's the best part about software engineering, that anyone in the world can contribute. They don't necessarily need to work at Facebook for that. Or Apple for that, just to contribute what goes into making their products, because a lot of it is open to the public.
Yeah. Well, this was great. Thank you so much for joining me, Khan, Anane, and Devyash, the Arizona State University students who created the website Is My Internship Canceled? And thank you for those of you at home who watched us and submitted questions. My name is Becky Bratu with QuickTake. Thank you. See you next time.
Thanks, Becky.
Thank you.